Bienvenidos. Hi, everybody. How are you guys today? Happy Friday. I am joined today by Liliana and Michael, who live in Valladolid, Yucatan. Valladolid is not a city that we hear a lot about in, the foreigner circles. People probably have heard of Merida, probably have heard of Progreso, which is on the beach. But Valladolid is a really beautiful, calm city. It's kind of a mid-sized city, about 100,000 people. Am I right?
Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah. And you don't hear about it a lot, but we definitely think that you should. It's kind of an up and coming city in the Yucatan Peninsula. And anyway, so Michael and Liliana are here to talk to you guys about what their experience has been moving not only from Florida to Mexico, but they moved with their 4 kids and they're pretty young. So we're going to talk about, what is a community like in Valladolid? Are there things to do for them? Like what kinds of activities can they do as a family? What's the infrastructure like? They're also building a house as if though they weren't busy enough being full-time parents, but they're also building a house. So we're going to talk about what that experience is like for them, what kinds of surprises they might have learned along the way, and how does their cost of living compare to Florida in Valladolid specifically? And then we'll open it up to questions for you guys that are watching at home. So thank you all so much for joining. I hope that you guys find this information to be useful. Before we get started, I want to just quickly draw your attention that we have a very handy tool, and that is our free email series. So if you haven't signed up for it yet, I'm going to drop a link in the comments. It's a series that's broken up into like 15 different emails and talks a lot about residency visas, what the process is like, how to know if you qualify, healthcare, how to deal with Mexican bureaucracy, how to deal with fluctuations in exchange rates, a lot of those things that maybe you're kind of researching before you move to Mexico. I put it into an email series that I'm constantly updating, so I make sure that you have relevant information before you get started on your move to Mexico. So anyway, I have that link in the comments if you guys are interested. So Liliana, Michael, thank you so much for being here with us tonight.
Pleasure to be here.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Why don't you guys tell the people who are watching just a bit about yourselves? Like, where are you guys originally moving from, and why did you choose Mexico?
Yeah. So Lily and I are born Floridians, born and raised. I grew up in near Tampa in a small town called Bradenton, and I went to college in Gainesville for the University of Florida. That's actually where I met Lily, and I'll let her chat about her upbringing.
And I am from Haines City, Florida, which is in the center of Florida. And I'm from a big family. I'm Mexican. That's my ancestry. I'm first generation, and I'm from a family of 7.
Wow.
And my parents are originally from Reynosa, Tamaulipas, which is the north of Mexico.
Very
And
familiar.
yeah, we would visit there every year and up until high school, where my dad had some bad experiences because we would drive our big family van, and then he was just like, "We can't drive anymore, so
Yeah.
um, we have to take the pecera from the border to your grandpa's house." So we're just like, okay. But yeah, I met Michael in college, and then yeah.
And yeah, so college sweethearts. We got married almost 10 years ago this year.
Mhm.
Um,
Congrats.
thank you. We moved together to Orlando. Um, and I suppose kind of like um, I'm trying to think where it really started, like the dream. We so Lily and I always wanted a big family together, and we're living it. But
Yeah.
in terms of like Mexico, I think what really like was kind of like digging at me. I'm a software engineer by trade, and I make a very good living. I'm very blessed um, that I can afford all these kids and to have a home. We have a home in Orlando that we own. I was able to buy that, but as I'm sure anyone on the stream is, everything just started getting wildly expensive. I was blessed that I bought our house in 2017. Perfect time to buy it. But right before we had our first child, and the interest rates were low, and we bought in, and great timing on that. Go me on that decision.
Yeah.
But we were all.
Good
I was
job,
also.
previous Michael.
I was also my thought was that I grew up in a home. I want my son to grow up on a home. So we moved in January, and Nicolo, our firstborn, he's in another room. He was born that month after we moved in, and we we were a family, and my career progressed, and we were doing great. But I always felt like there was always just like things dragging us like down in terms of like the cost of stuff, and it really came to a head in 2021 2022, and as we had 2 kids and we were having a third, and we thought about upsizing our home, and we shopped around, and we were like, wow, it just like we have a 3-bedroom house in Orlando, and it could fit us fairly well, but we wanted a little more yard, we wanted a pool, and I thought about my upbringing. I grew up in an upper middle class household, I'd say, and I had a pool in my backyard, and I know I feel like I'm coming from a place of privilege, but I was like, man, I feel like I work so hard and I don't get that much for it.
Yeah.
We have student loan debts that we're still paying off comfortably. It's not a problem. I have my mortgage I'm paying off. It's not a problem. And we save a good amount for retirement. But you just can't really. We felt like we couldn't really get that larger home or a pool or anything like that. And Lily has always Lily ingratiated me in the Mexican culture. I took 5 years of Spanish in high school, so I'm definitely not a beginner in it by any means, and I'm able to speak it pretty well here. Lily's family is real Mexican, and I got introduced to all the cuisine. I got introduced to the people, the culture, the parties. I loved it, and I don't know where it really started. I guess we just kind of mulled over like, let's go hang out in Mexico for a good while.
Yeah, we were like, let's find our favorite city in Mexico and see how it is there.
I pulled the trigger in 2021 for us all to go take a big trip to Mexico City, and we lived there for a full month.
Okay.
And that was like, I don't remember what prompted that, but that was really the start, and it was awesome. We were in Roma Norte. I took 2 weeks off. I took 1 week off of work, and I worked the rest of the month. But I wanted to get a feel for like what it would be like just to live somewhere completely different. I wanted to get out of the rut and live somewhere different, and it was awesome. It was a small apartment. Lily's father was with us, hanging out too for the month.
Nice.
And,
nice.
And we only had our first 2 kids by then, our sons Nicolo and Giovanni. But it was great. I love the people of Mexico. I love my wife, and the food, and like it felt just like so much warmer, in my opinion, than Orlando.
And that's Mexico City, which like in general, is like the most chaotic city of all of Mexico.
But every weekend we would rent a car and we'd go explore. We went to Puebla, we went to Querétaro, we went to Cuernavaca and the Silver Village that I can't remember the name of.
Taxco.
Taxco, and it was awesome. We went up we went up the volcano, and there was a little house that was a lady just selling food and stuff, and it was one of the best meals I ever had in my life.
Well, we couldn't visit the national park because it's an active volcano. So
the volcano was smoking at the time, but we just drove up the.
Okay, yeah.
And so that really started, and I would live in Mexico, and that kind of like that kind of prompted it. We took another trip with some friends to Mazatlan for 2 weeks because after they saw us do it, they were like, "Oh, we want to go hang out in Mexico for a bit." And we spent 2 weeks in Mazatlan. It was awesome. We did 10 days in Guadalajara, and we also stayed in Ajijic. So yeah, we were at that point. I was like, after Mexico City, I was like, I could definitely live in Mexico. It's awesome. And at that point, we were just kind of looking around. And our final like big trip, we came here in 2023 for another month to the Yucatan. I think we were originally going to try. We were trying to go to Oaxaca, maybe.
And then that didn't work out, so we're just like, okay, we'll do a tour of the Yucatan.
Yeah, we picked the Yucatan, and we flew into Cancun because it was the cheapest, but we actually took a bus all the way to Merida from Cancun. That was a ride.
Yeah. A direct or like they made stops along the way?
Oh, they made stops along the way. It was a long.
Oh yeah.
Very long.
But
long ride.
so like we decided that we were gonna go all the way to Merida and then backtrack back to Cancun where we'd fly out. So we went to Merida, and then we spent a week or so there. Then we spent maybe 10 days here in Valladolid. We spent Christmas in Valladolid, and during our anniversary, Lily had booked a Mayan cooking class where we cooked together as a whole family. My boys.
Oh, that's cool.
Our daughter was one, so she kind of just got to hang
She
out.
wasn't. Yeah, she was being held by Lilian.
She was held by all the Mayan ladies.
Yeah, the cooking class will hold your baby.
Yeah, that's nice.
Which is just something I love about Mexico too. Everyone's so nice to children everywhere.
Very much so.
And like it was, I felt like it was just like a call. I was like, this is the place. And in my head, I was like, this is the place. And we asked the family if there was any land here. I'm like, I want to live near you guys. Let's be neighbors. And
yeah, really?
like,
Okay.
Cool, let's do it. And they gave us contacts, and we looked at some land, and like a little bit of reality hit because I was like, man, land. If you've never looked at land is just it's land. Like it's not exciting. It's not like looking at a house.
Yeah, totally.
We had like a vision. We didn't have any sort of like plans on what we were going to build, but we were like, we know we need some land because we want to build, our dream home eventually. We'll talk about that a little bit in a bit, but we've looked at some plots of lands, and Lily, I felt like was maybe like kind of doubting it when we got there, and I was like, yo, we just need to do this. I was like, we're gonna buy a plot of land because I knew like we could just wait forever. Like we could look at every city in Mexico and fly around and keep taking trips. But like I was like, I'm ready to commit. And I told them yes to a plot of land, and it's a 25 meters by 50 meters. So it's fairly big, like a third of an acre, a little less.
Okay.
And
thank you for making that calculation for all of us.
It was about, at the exchange rate at the time, which was less than today, so it was like, I think it was like 17 pesos to the dollar. It was about $32,000 for that plot of land, which to me felt affordable. And we wired the money, and we owned land, and we just kind of owned land. Maybe that was like January 2024, and we. Lil, did you take any trips before we met the architect?
Yeah, well, I took some trips, not shopping around, but like just researching like the local architects and the contacts and stuff, and like the requirements. And since it's like an unincorporated area, it's still like it doesn't have power out there. So we were just like, okay, what do we have to think about? And so I interviewed 2 architects on my computer when I went on a trip with my parents. And that was really great. One was based out of Merida and one was based in Valladolid. And it was like me and Michael like discussing our options, and we're just like, okay, well, I'm going to be the one traveling because of the Mexican citizenship and stuff and all the legal stuff. And I was just like, I'd rather just stay in one city in Valladolid. So we'll use like the local architect inside Valladolid, because it's a lot of travel for me, and a lot of back and forth from Orlando to Mexico. So I was like, this is it. And like Michael said, like we love the family vibes, and we still want to grow our family. So we're just like, we're going to build our dream home, and we want to be able to let the kids like run around and explore, and like we'll meet more people. So yeah, Michael held my hand and he was like, let's do this. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, you take a leap of faith. Like you were like, all right,
Very-
let's start setting some roots here.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's wild. And has like now that the dust has settled a little bit and you've explored Valladolid, like what do you think about it now?
I like it. I like it a lot. Yeah, it's real hot here. For anyone who's never been to the Yucatan, it's hot. But we're from Florida. It's hot in Florida.
Yeah,
Yeah, the only difference is that everywhere in Florida has AC, and here
right.
it's sometimes a bit hard to come by.
It's
But
a reality check for our kids because they're like, everywhere had AC in Orlando. And
Yeah.
the
And by
restaurants,
everywhere, it's like the grocery store and like the convenience stores. And I mean, really everywhere. Every car you get into,
yes,
every public transportation you get into. Whereas in Mexico, especially in those parts of Mexico where people are more acclimated, like the convenience store might not have it on.
they definitely
Right.
don't. I was there today.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't have it on. Or like maybe, also the taxi drivers don't always have it on.
They definitely don't always have it on.
Yeah.
yeah.
We took a lot of cabs here for a while because we
It
sold.
might not even work. Yeah.
Yeah, that too.
Mhm. So yeah, so it was a reality check for your kids.
Mhm. For
They
us,
were really
I enjoy the outdoor restaurants, but them, it's like, okay, you need mosquito spray because mosquitoes are like coming out after a certain hour, and it's just like, okay, carry our own mosquito spray with us. Or a lot of restaurants have it, but yeah, our kids were just like, I hate it. Why? Why did you bring us?
Yeah, sometimes they get real upset, but usually they're all right.
Yeah.
Right now they're pretty good, but they
At first?
at first it was a little bit difficult, and getting them psyched up for the move was difficult. Like I think it'll come to like they'll feel a lot better when we're in our home because it'll be ready by the end of the month. At least the part that we've built so far.
Yeah, but
And-
the travel was intense because we traveled with 3 cats as well.
Yeah, we also travel with our cats.
Wow. Okay. And 4 children.
And our
Yeah.
children.
Yeah, it's an adjustment for sure. Whether it was 1 kid or 4 kids, like it'd be an adjustment for every single one of you for sure. So let's talk about that a bit since it was kind of a shock for them. Are they going to school? Like what ages are they?
Yeah, so our 2 boys, our oldest, well, we have 3 boys, but our 2 oldest are 8 and 6. Our oldest is in 3rd grade, grado tres, and our younger, our 6-year-old, he's in 1st grade, primer grado, and we actually found their school before we fully moved because obviously that was going to be a big concern. And we had talked to them for that process just to make sure like it was just going to be as smooth as possible. After Lily had gotten her dual citizenship, which as for anyone who doesn't know, if your parents were Mexican citizens, you could just automatically get it. It's real easy at the consulate. You just have to bring. I mean, it's not super easy. Like we had to go find her parents' birth certificates, but the Mexican government has made a big process of making that all available online now. So you can actually get. I was able to get Lily's dad's birth certificate, and I feel like your mom had like a handwritten one.
Yeah, hers was handwritten and not in the
Really?
system, so it had to be entered.
Yeah, that one we had to kind of finagle with. But once we had that, it was easy, and then it was easy to do our kids. So we made sure to do it for every single one of them after this one was born last year. So we did it for him after he was born.
Because they need it for school.
And
Oh,
yeah,
for sure.
that made enrolling them very easy. They're at a private school here in Valladolid called Siglo XXI, 21st Century, and it's a very nice school in my opinion. and they seem like they sometimes, all kids are iffy about school, but they seem to like it pretty well. They're making friends, which was very great for us. I see them
Mhm.
wave to kids. Uh,
When they're
their
leaving. Yeah.
yeah, their Spanish isn't as strong as we probably would have hoped, but the oldest was in a bilingual school in Orlando, so it hasn't been like he does know some Spanish, and
He knows how to read and write.
yeah, he knows how to read
Oh,
and
okay.
write.
First grader, he's learning to read and write.
And
Um,
children pick it up so much easier than adults too, right? Like they just
And that was the big like that was another big push for our move too. I was like, let's get them here so they can just get it all in while they're young.
yeah.
Even though they kick and scream about it, but yeah, no, they're in school. It's good. Trying to think anything else around the kids.
the registration process was interesting because I was like, when do you start enrollment and stuff like that? Because I was here visiting, and they're just like, well, we're going to start enrollment on this month if you can bring the papers, but we're still living full time in Florida. So it was just like, dang, I have to physically be there because they need like not the copies, they need like
The actual originals.
the originals. And I was just like, oh, this is so frustrating. So it's
They
like,
weren't flexible with you, like to give them like copies.
they were sort of flexible. They were just like,
Okay.
send it through WhatsApp. We'll get you registered so you're on the wait list because the classroom is already full or whatever. And I
Yeah.
was like, great. So like one of our kids was guaranteed a spot and the other one was on a wait list. So they were just like, okay, and we have a promotion right now for the enrollments if you can pay. And I was just like, yes, but we'll have to do like a transfer. So I had to like transfer to like one of the teachers and admin, and like she paid for me. And then when I came in person, she gave me my receipt and stuff. So that was interesting. So they did do some flexibility with us so that we could do that. Um, get them registered to have their slot, and then just knowing the dates and times. Everything is through WhatsApp, so that was like primary communication, and knowing when to buy uniforms and what color to get. All that was stressful for me.
Yeah, yeah. No, I get it. Very different than what you're used to. I assumed your kids were in public schools before.
No, they went to a private Catholic school.
Okay.
Um,
So you were used to dealing with like uniforms and having to go through like one vendor and those kinds of things.
Yeah, right now we're waiting on because the year when we were thinking of moving, we didn't enroll them back in school, so we did homeschool. So coming to Mexico, like doing homeschool, it's like, okay, so what test scores do you have and stuff? So it's like I have these test scores, but they're like, okay, well, I don't know, the Secretary of Education here like doesn't recognize those test scores, so he has to retake the test. So our third grader had to retake the test for second grade to pass to third grade. So that was frustrating for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he did it. So
So
here we
people
are.
have an idea, like, can you share a bit about what tuition costs are like?
oh yeah, no, it's cheap. So to give a comparison, and in Florida there's a scholarship for this, and we have a school choice program now. But it was 8,000 a year for the boys in Florida for Catholic school. Yeah, maybe each. Luckily, yeah, we did have a scholarship.
Mhm.
$8,000
Here,
each? Wow.
yeah,
Okay. Yeah, that's
here
high.
Valladolid, their private school, I think is what 2,000 for both, or
I think 2,000 each.
2,000 each.
Yeah.
So a lot cheaper.
That
And
sounds about right. 1,000
yeah,
for a private school.
it's worth it. Obviously, we want them to have a really good. We've always been focused on their education. I mean, Lily and I went to public, so
Mhm.
but we've always wanted to provide the best for our kids that we
Yeah.
possibly. So it's a big thing for us. So
And
yeah, it's in my
in
opinion.
general, in Mexico, I feel like, public schools are good, but if you can afford it, a private school is going to be significantly better.
Yeah, and that's we found in my opinion, I feel like it's a solid school. And we got 4 kids, so it's not gonna we can't do 4 times 5, 10. We looked at in the guide some of the American schools, but they are like 10 grand, 15 grand. I'm like, I can't
Yeah.
pay that per kid.
Yeah.
I'll
And you
still
don't
my
necessarily need to like, it's like they're so young right now that you're not worried much about like them getting all their like credits validated in, you know, an American college and things like that, right?
yeah.
So maybe later on, if that was ever a priority for you, then maybe an American college would make sense. So what about like making friends and just kind of building community? What have you guys found? Is it, I mean, your kids are young, but making friends with other like parents in the school and things like that, has it been welcoming to you guys?
So I'd lean more on Lily for that. In terms of the kids making friends, I feel like they do a good job. And it's always been weird, like for those who don't have kids, but maybe you remember growing up little. It was a lot easier as a kid, I feel like, to have friends. And like, you know, even when we were in Orlando, just trying to get their friends like over to our house or, you know, to hang out was such a trial. Like people don't pick up their, like, you got to talk to their parents, right? And they don't, you know, text back or and then it's like I want to hang out with my friend, and I'm like, well, I'm sorry, like I literally can't get a hold of your friends like parents, and I'm not gonna like hound them. um, but here in Valladolid, they've made friends. The like all the parents seem to have like a WhatsApp group that only Lily's in. But I try to reach out to yeah, my son has a friend named Grecia that we ran into her grandparents in church. I was like, hey, can I get your phone number so I can you know, so that Grecia can come hang out with Nicola. And so I found that like it seems like they're doing all right, and they miss their friends in Florida still. We're planning to go back for during their winter break so that they can hang out with them. But we also say like, hey, we can always like FaceTime um, any of your old friends or whatnot. Um,
And for us, I've been able to connect with some of the moms in the classroom because there was like a lot of welcome meetings at first for the school year getting started.
still is.
Yeah, so it's okay, and it's just back and forth. Like I talk to the parents at the pickup line because we have to wait. We all show up early and we wait outside the gate for the kids to be released. Um, and like our friends from the aldea, the original Mayan family that we met, like we keep up with them, and like I feel like everybody eventually will run into that person again, and so like they helped us with an invitation for like the local celebrations. Like here right now, there of Noches de Octubre, so it's like the different gremios in the town are like celebrating. So like today, I was able to go share in a celebration with the beekeeper gremio. So that was special and cool. I got to dress up my little 2-year-old girl as a little bee, and like just hang out with the people and talk. But yeah, like Michael made a friend at the gym, so that was cool.
Yeah, I have a friend. I made friends.
It's so much harder for men. I do think that in general, it's much harder for men.
I am making an effort.
I keep reminding him like, can you like exchange your number with somebody at the gym?
Yeah, totally. Like if you like them, make sure you get their number, honey. Yeah. Yeah, it's so much harder for men. It's totally normal.
So you know, I'm chugging along. I'm trying.
Yeah, yes.
But you know, everyone in general is just like really friendly. Everyone, I walk down the street, or I ride my scooter. I bought a scooter. That's a big thing here in Valladolid, and I feel like in a lot of small towns in Mexico, like that's the way to get around. Don't like
Yeah.
if you can get away with not getting a car, get a little scooter and or a little motorcycle, and that's the way to go.
You're gonna be like a true Mexican family if you can get all 4 kids on your scooter and the 2 of you.
And you know,
Yeah.
when we did car shopping was a very interesting experience. When we moved here, we sold both of our cars in America because you know, that's the easier way to kind of go about it. And we had looked at like a bunch of used cars, but like they're not super cheap here down here anymore. Cars in general aren't like, you know, very cheap. And we were looking for a bigger car because we got a big old family. And for a while, we just didn't have one. So yeah, we took taxis a lot. In Valladolid, they're cheap. You know, it's a couple bucks to go to the downtown and back. And but we were spending quite a bit on that. And it's, you know, a bit of a hassle to herd kids in. I bought a scooter off Amazon, and I was like, I felt like a king. You can get around anywhere. You can get around anywhere in Valladolid on a scooter. And
Yeah.
They even told me I didn't even need a license plate for it because I bought an electric one. So it's
So it's under a certain amount of like CCs or something.
I guess Lily,
Okay.
Lily I had to have Lily kind of help me with that.
Yeah, you might want to look into it.
She went to the office and was like, "This is the scooter," and they're like, "Oh, you don't need a plate." So
Okay.
if they pull me over, I'm be out of luck. I'll tell them my wife told me I didn't need a plate.
Yeah, totally. Just yeah, they'll understand. They'll understand.
We did get a car though. There's a local Chevrolet dealership here, and we kind of lowered our expectations of what we were looking for. We wanted to get a big van around Mexico, but I think that will be for another year or two that we'll wait on that.
Yeah.
So
tell us a bit about your, the house that you guys are building now. So you mentioned that you found two architects that you really liked, one living in Merida, that you ended up settling for the one in Valladolid. But you had an idea of what you wanted, and they're going with that, or what was that process like of you?
Yes. So we asked the architect. We showed them our land. They surveyed it, and it was really great work. I've never worked with an architect in my life, but you just kind of give them stuff that you like your Pinterest board of house dreams.
Sure. Yeah, inspiration.
With a 3D rendering of a house, I was like, this is perfect. In my head, I was like, this is awesome. So our house, we wanted to get a bedroom for each of our kids. So there's 4 right now, and a bedroom for us, obviously. So we were looking at a 5-bedroom home, and a pool. And then it kind of the plans kind of shifted a bit because I talked to my mom, and my father he unfortunately passed 2 years ago, maybe. And I asked, I was like, Mom, what's your plan? She lived in a big my childhood home all by herself. I was like, do you want to come down with us? And she was like, yeah, I'll build a house on your property. And so we're like, well, okay. One, we needed some money to help kind of start this up a little bit. So that was helpful. So she wanted a little casita on the property too. So now we had our 5-bedroom house and our pool in the plans, and her house, which was going to be a 2-bedroom on the corner of the property. And for basically all of that, the total cost was going to be, I want to say, around $500,000. So that's 7 bedrooms, 2 kitchens, a pool, bathrooms for every bedroom, a half bathroom. And this house would have been in Orlando, $1 million, $1.5 million, no problem. And there's, that's not including the land that we already owned. Unfortunately,
and property taxes of over, probably $20,000 a year or more.
Our property taxes in Orlando for our house that we now rent, we rent out our house to our niece now. They cost $4,000 a year probably. So a house that we dreamed of would have been, it would have been a lot. I can't imagine what my mom's property taxes are, but so it was good. In theory, the problem is, I can't get ye old Mexican mortgage down here, and I don't have $500,000. So what we ended up doing is we took out, our house had, blessed be, had accumulated a lot of value since 2017, and we took out a home equity loan on that to get the cash to pay for some of the house. So my mom chipped in her portion of around $150,000 for her house that we're gonna live in, and we built the 4 side pool rooms that are gonna be our kids' houses and the pool. So all in all, and we had to get a solar system with batteries because there's no electricity out there. That was another
Oh, okay.
$50. So
Sure.
all in all, we put in about $350,000 of cash, between loans and savings, and my mom paying for her part of the house. And we're almost done. It feels like every month I'm paying for a lot of stuff. But
That's a
yeah,
quick turnaround because you guys started in
December is when-
January.
last December was when the plans were drafted, and we said go ahead with the construction, and we are just about done in October. The portion of the house that will not be built is our bedroom and the yeah, we call it the Casa Grande.
You're saving the best for last.
Yeah.
You want to
But-
be in the house and overlooking that project.
Yeah, exactly. So we're gonna live in my mom's house because she's not gonna move down there for a while. She's still got to sell her house, and she's like, "I'm not retired yet." I'm like, "What are you? You know, you don't need to work, but whatever."
Yeah.
And so we'll live in her house while our house gets built. We'll pay down our loan and build the big house.
Is it about like now that you're like, finalizing the project and you first got quoted about $500,000? Is it turning out to be about $500,000?
Yeah, everything. Nothing is really like there had been like some adjustments where it was like, oh, the wood came in higher, right?
Or your mom picked out quartz stone instead of tile.
Yeah, or like the quartz is going to cost extra for the countertops. But really, I've been pleasantly pleased that like you don't like because I've heard stories of people buying houses and it's like, oh, it ended up costing us a lot more. But that really hasn't been like the case here. It's been very straightforward. We had some delays because the house was originally going to be ready in June per the architect. It's definitely not ready yet. It's almost
You can
ready.
add double the time. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, people say like add double the time, but it's been July, August, September, so 4 months extra. Which to me, I'm like, you built 6 bedrooms, and we got these giant solar array and batteries installed, and a wall, and a pool is getting built. Like, that's pretty good. My aunt waited years for her 2-bedroom house in Crystal River, Florida. Of course, she started building like in the middle of COVID, so she had issues. But they work day in day and out here, I feel like, and they send us weekly videos. We see the house. It was awesome. We saw the house getting built.
Yeah, how exciting.
And now it's almost ready, and I'm so ready to get out of this rental.
Yeah, you're ready to move into your house, and you guys each have your own space, and
Yep.
it'll make life a lot easier. Yeah, for anybody. So would you do it all over again if anybody's wondering, like, is building a house right for them? Like,
I would. I would just there are some caveats. I would say, like, I feel like we were probably too eager. Like, some things fell through for us where it was like our niece was gonna move into our house. Not our niece, our Lily's sister was gonna move into our house, and then she backed out. So, well, we can't move without somebody renting the place.
Sure, yeah, you need that income.
And so, like, I feel like we would have maybe stayed longer in the United States a bit, till the house was fully ready, because now we've moved all our stuff here and we're gonna move it again. So, like, there are a couple things I'd change, but I would do it. I would build the whole house again. It was cool. And I'd also say,
oh, I'm sorry.
I said also, be wary of wherever you rent. We this rental has been great. There's no hot water.
Okay. Did you know that before you rented it?
No, we did not know.
Oh, you learned that the first time you tried taking a shower?
I feel like it's sometimes the water gets a little warm, but like not really.
Just
The
because
water,
it's hot outside.
yeah, like
The pipes were closed for the washer hookup, so that was unfortunate.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. Okay. So lesson learned. Check all the faucets and
yeah,
showers.
like all the things you wouldn't expect. The internet has been pretty iffy here. Like,
Check when the AC units were last serviced.
yeah, check when
Yeah.
it's trying to think anything else I'd say. Um,
What kind of rental is it? How many bedrooms do you have now?
it's 4 bedrooms, but count -1 because one doesn't have an AC. So
Okay.
no one's sleeping in there.
Yeah.
And
It has a hammock and maybe like
I cannot sleep here in Yucatan without AC. We stayed in an Airbnb in Ajijic without AC, and it was the most miserable night of my life.
really it was too hot for you.
So hot.
And last year was especially hot, I feel.
I told Lily we can't do that ever again.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm a big proponent of AC, and our house will have all the AC. And but otherwise, like the rental's been pretty good though. It's also we have frequent power outages in this part of town, and I don't know if you saw, but the whole Yucatan actually had a huge power outage across.
Yeah, I saw that recently.
And we were hit by that. It was only out for like a few hours, but for someone like me who works from home, that's something I didn't really realize or consider that I'd need to have like a backup plan. And so I've been using a lot of hotspot on my phone, but even that gets eaten up eventually when you're working remotely.
So do you have 2 internet services? Because maybe some people don't realize that like it depends really where in Mexico you live, but this can happen anywhere in Mexico. So a lot of people have 2 different internet services. So when one goes down, they might have a backup.
We don't. I kind of wish we would have put Starlink in here because that's what we're gonna have. We're gonna have Starlink.
Sure.
But I'm cheap, and I was like, we're not gonna live here that long, so like let's just we'll deal with it. So I have Spectrum Mobile from the United States, and they have free roaming in Mexico. So I just use my data plan as like a stopgap. It's not ideal, but it gets the job mostly done.
Yeah.
So that works out.
Okay. So what about you, Liliana? Like now that the dust has settled and you're building this house, now you're raising your kids in Valladolid. Like now that you've spent more than just a month like you did in Mexico City, what do you think about it now? Now that because you're actually probably like you mentioned that you were kind of making friends with some of the other moms at school. So you probably talked to maybe some of them on a more regular basis. So what do you think about people and Valladolid in general?
I think a lot of people are so welcoming and so trusting. The across the street, she did the hems for the boys' uniforms, and then she invited me to like have tamales or like, oh, her sister's selling pozole. Like, do you want to buy some, vecina? And I was like, yeah, sure. So like, they've been super welcoming.
That's good.
I'm always walking around with the kids. It's so funny. Like for me, like my family of 4 is really huge here. So they're just like, are all those your babies? And I'm just like, yes, they all look like me. So just like the babies are always like an icebreaker for talking with like people here, especially when I go to the mercado and like I buy fruit there or tortillas. Or meat, just getting used to like buying meat in the mercado versus at the supermarket and like talking up and like learning the recipes of like the locals. Michael can attest to this, super easy to talk to with like anybody. So I'll just be like, oh yeah, I like your shirt, like where'd you buy that, whatever. So I really like it. Everybody's super helpful. Of course, when they live off of tips and stuff, it's just like, okay, let me make sure to have my besitos here to like thank them for helping me because I'm loading up all my groceries and like they help me like, put away my cart at the grocery store and stuff. So I'm just like, okay. And just like getting around is interesting. I have to like adapt because my big 2 baby stroller doesn't fit through most like aisles in like little tendejones or little stores where I want to get some snacks or something. So I have to like baby carry, which I'm used to doing. And Michael helps out with the baby carrying as well. So it's just like I like making new friends, and it's a slow process, but it's definitely started and it's happening. And I'm excited to eventually like take my kids to do something. Like the locals are selling more for the locals now instead of like for tourists. So it's cool. Like the kids had a break in school, or no, it was summer break still, and I took the kids to like a local art class. But I didn't realize I could have dropped the kids off at an art studio, and they had yoga and like local art, and then they had pizza and games and stuff. And I was just like, oh, cool. I'm gonna come back because I like to do art. And they have like wine nights and book club. So like this is cool. I would be interested in this. So like there's definitely events and stuff for the locals. Tonight we're going to our first vaqueria. It's late. It's at 10 o'clock. So
Yeah.
it's gonna be a
The
struggle.
weekend though.
Yeah, it's the weekend. So we're just like, okay, let's enjoy and like talk up and have fun and enjoy being out with all the family.
The
You
kids
feel
just go
though like, because I mean, Michael has like, you mentioned 5 years of Spanish that you took in school, and then I'm assuming you're fluent because your family's from Reynosa, and so do you feel like if somebody didn't have the language, would it be hard for them to integrate, or do you feel like do you feel like English is spoken by many people in Valladolid?
Nope.
Personally?
you
Yeah.
were a harder time here.
They
But
prefer you speak. I every encounter, it's like first Spanish. So I know that there's like English clubs and like we see tourists and there's like tons of hostels like in town and stuff. So we know there's a whole bunch of like English conversed and stuff. Um, but yeah, and then a lot of the waiters and wait staff tell us like, oh, I'll practice my English. Is that okay? And we're
Sure.
like,
Yeah.
sure.
And you're
Yeah.
like, sure, I'll practice, speaking more English too. So you don't forget it.
The kids are ecstatic because we make the kids order in Spanish.
Yeah.
Practicing.
Yeah, but I mentioned that because as much as I do think that maybe Valladolid does not talked about much, it's also because maybe like it's not as much of a tourist hub as like, for example, Merida, or,
we purposely did that.
you purposely, yeah.
I didn't want to live. We went to Playa del Carmen in that trip, and I was like, I feel kind of like I'm in Miami right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. It's very much catered to, the American tourist, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
If I don't go downtown, I won't see another white person for a while.
Michael will go days without speaking English unless he's at home. We're gonna do more to speak at home. But
That's really good. Yeah. You're really immersed.
I'm here for it.
yeah.
But that's
If anybody is truly wanting a city where they're not going to be surrounded by other foreigners, Valladolid might be a perfect fit. And they like hot weather.
You gotta like hot weather, but also like you can if you want, because if you're in the center of town, there's plenty of tourists. We're just not near the center. We're right in the outside. Our colonia is not real. Like it's pretty far, like 15-minute cab ride, 10-minute cab ride. Our house is on the outskirts of the city, but yeah, once you're inside the city or like in like the dining areas, like yeah, there's people, and we know there are other expats here because we hear about them from we just haven't really met any of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's not what you're trying to like make friends with the local Mexican families, and not that there's anything wrong with like meeting other foreigners, right? Like not that there's anything wrong with that in general, but you're trying to create a different experience for your family.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I get that. Which, by the way, if anybody's wondering more about Valladolid, we did a whole video on it of like, just the infrastructure in general, just so you get a sense of what it looks like. If you're interested in looking at that, we have a playlist for Yucatan on this channel. So once this Q&A is done, you can go check that out. But yeah, so I would love for anybody to know, like, what are maybe 3 things that you wish you knew before you moved to Mexico?
Definitely like moving your household. We used one of the experts in the guide, and it was wonderful. But like just set your own expectations for like communication wise. So like amongst you, like set your expectations. Like I'm a hawk and I like watch everything movers do, but my husband is like, I'm doing like all these things at once. I can't be a hawk like you. And I'm just like, but what went in? And he's like, I don't know. And I'm like,
Yeah.
so
So
like
you're
set
the
that.
organized one.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
he's like, the experts are the organized ones.
Set
Yeah.
that expectation first because you can argue a lot amongst yourselves and like the professionals, but like just like know what your expectations are and if they don't meet your expectations, obviously you're paying for the service, so you're the client and you're just like, you know, I need this, you need to give me this. So
Yeah.
good.
I
Things
put you on the spot.
I wish I knew. Like I mean, like nothing really went like terribly. So it was like, I'd say like I wish. I mean, I wish I would have definitely like been able to walk through the like where we were gonna live at for a good while before.
Our friends walked through with them and
But
then
they're not.
Okay.
They don't. They
but
didn't.
th're not us,
They're not
obviously.
us. They're not. They're like. Oh,
They
this
didn't
is
know what you like or don't like, or what would be like a deal breaker for you.
hot
Like
water.
hot water.
Who needs a washing machine, or you're gonna pay for laundry service like while you're here, like that's
Yeah. So you
Laundry-
rented sight unseen.
They sent us pictures because yeah we were here.
They were here and they sent us videos and pictures and talked with the renter and stuff. So yeah, it was sight unseen.
I
for
wish
us.
I would have walked through. Yep.
Yeah.
I wish I would have walked through. That said, we might have still ran in here, but at least I would have known up front what I was getting into.
Yeah.
Yeah. The
You
shock
know-
would have been maybe like you expected what you were walking into.
It's still not that bad though. Like I can deal. I've lived in worse situations than this.
It helps that the weather is very warm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we knew that though. We 100% knew that. If you're, one thing that I was very happy to learn. This was kind of like a pleasant surprise. This is the safest state in Mexico, the Yucatan.
Mhm.
Everyone, like even my gym buddy, he's like, we moved here because of how safe it is, and he's from Oaxaca, which isn't like unsafe.
Yeah. But in terms of like homicides and like crime in general, it's like the lowest number in the whole country.
And Merida, I heard, was actually one of the safest in North America, just in general.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. So, you know, that worked out well. We, you know, safety is important for a big family.
Mhm.
Things I wish I would have known.
What about your household goods? So you mentioned that you brought your household goods, and I know a lot of people
I'll
always
tell you
wonder.
what I would have known. I wish I would have known how much of a pain in the butt it is to throw away all your stuff because, man, we had so much stuff, and we knew like we couldn't take all of it. Right, like 10 years of, or not 10 years,
Yeah,
years of living in a
downsizing.
Building it, but like putting it out in the garage and stuff. You
Yeah,
know?
we just kept stocking it away, and we had a big problem because like our house in Orlando has an external garage. We have 2 garages, 2 separate garages, so we had plenty of space to tuck away crap. And then it came to a head of like we should have started 2 years ago, like getting rid of stuff. And like up till the last week of us moving out, we were donating. I went to Goodwill 40 times, like at least, like
Yeah.
with cars full of like full carloads of stuff, and I'm like, how did I get so much stuff? So that's what I like. If you're thinking of moving to Mexico, like just moving at all, and you've lived somewhere for a good while, just start getting rid of your stuff right and go get off this computer right now. Go start cleaning out your house. You have too much stuff.
Yeah, in general. Yeah, we just accumulate. The more house we have, the more things we accumulate. It's like a fish tank, you know?
Yeah.
The bigger the fish tank, the bigger the fish. But for people that might be wondering, like, now that you have been living in Yucatan in a hot climate area where maybe like the air conditioner isn't running throughout the entire house all day long, like only in the house, in the rooms that you're using for the most part. So Like, what things would you have brought that maybe you didn't bring, or maybe what things would you have left behind that you brought with you?
I don't think there's anything we brought that I wouldn't have brought. What do you think?
Just no. I don't
Bring
think-
fans. If you have
Yeah.
fans, don't bring those. You
Bring
should-
your good fans. We ordered a fan on Amazon and it was like the worst to like install, and it like supposed to rotate all around, but it doesn't. So if you have like a good quality fan,
yeah, bring your fan if you have fans. But like, as long as you have AC, that's pretty decent. And our AC units in this place are pretty decent. Like, it's fine. Like, you don't spend as much time in the living room, and you know what? Whatever. Like,
yeah.
we're adaptable. And we've gotten pretty used to it anyways. I'm sometimes in my office and I only kick on the AC when I realize I'm sweating a little bit. Like, it's fine.
Would you have brought anything else with you?
Would I brought anything else? No, I think we brought all I really wanted. Definitely. Let me see. Anything that I'm like particularly glad I brought. Computer, TV. No, like I can't think of anything that I'm like, dang, I wish I would have brought, or like, oh, I'm really happy I brought.
Yeah,
What?
like I was the one who did like all of like the yard work and stuff. So like me, I'm like, dang, I should have brought my tools and stuff, because then I could like trim the hedges or like pull the weeds and like do some of the cleanliness and stuff. But like here in our neighborhood, like the ayuntamiento has like a protección civil, and they come out and they like mow the yard and stuff like that. So it's like I don't have to worry about that. But on our property, I will have to worry about it because it'll be me.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know power tools are usually a lot more expensive in Mexico. So like if you make a trip back home, you can always bring a load with you. Of
Yeah,
things.
we probably should do that.
For sure.
We'll be back in December for kids' winter break.
So somebody wants to know what the process was like for bringing your cats to Mexico.
Yeah, so that was it wasn't too terrible. It's usually the airline, I think that's the one. They're the ones that like.
They said
You flew them.
we
Yeah,
flew them
them. We
in the
flew-
cabin with, and
Got
we
it.
had to have an extra person because our airline wouldn't give us a ticket for one of our cats because it had to be an adult with no baby. But then I called the airline again and they gave me the ticket, and they just did it
Okay.
on my mother-in-law's ticket. But I had to go to the vet and get their exams and stuff. And then
There was a special certificate. There's a special like certificate of health that they wanted, and you have to do it.
The
within-
airline.
Yeah,
Mhm.
you have to do it within 72 hours of.
no, I think it's like
30
within
days.
or
Or
something
maybe
like
maybe
No.
15 days. It depends on the airline.
It was like 1 or 2 weeks, I want to say.
15 days, I think.
Yeah.
It wasn't cheap. It was like $300.
The customs form was like $300, but all 3 cats could be on one, and it has to have their microchip on them and stuff. And like we flew into Cancun, right?
No, we flew into Merida.
We flew into Merida. One of our cats had pooped in the cabin, so it was just like fortunate that we couldn't change like their pee pad. That's what we had in there. We couldn't change that until after their inspection, which sucked because it was just like they're trying to hurry you all through the process, and we're just like, oh my god, my cat is like so mad at me right now.
It's not fun. Yeah, and if you have no kids, that's the best way to bring cats is just don't have kids, or make it a trip.
Make a separate trip.
Or make 2 trips. Yeah. One for the pets, one for the children.
It's not easy, especially if you have multiple. So you might want to look, especially if like it's just you or like flying. The only way flying was possible was my mom coming with us.
Yeah, we had to have an extra adult because we have the 4 kids and the stroller and all of our bags and stuff. And I had to buy like a portable litter box.
Okay.
It's not, I couldn't use it anywhere between like the airline process or stuff, but like it was for our Airbnb and stuff. And I packed litter because I couldn't go to a pet store right away as soon as we landed. So that helped the cats like acclimate and stuff. But the TSA was like checking the litter, and that took super long because I had like 2 bags of Ziploc bags with litter, and they were just like, okay, well, we have to test both
What
of
is
them.
this? Yeah.
What is this dirt? Yeah. So.
Oh, speaking of one thing I wish I would have known, anyone in the audience is a reptile owner, you're just gonna have to let go of your snakes.
We had a pet snake.
We had a pet snake, and we rehomed it because we talked to folks and we looked up laws. Like, there was not going to be a good way to bring in a snake.
It's very difficult. Like pets in Mexico are cats and dogs, and
Yeah,
that's the only two, like, animals that they consider pets.
I think you can get like reptiles
You can.
and stuff here
And birds.
now
Yeah.
here, but you're not able to bring them.
Yeah.
And it's funny because our snake
You can
was
bring
like-
certain birds and certain reptiles, but I know there's like certain breeds that are not allowed, and maybe your snake was one of them. I don't know.
Well, funny stuff, he was a Mexican snake. He was a Pueblan milk snake. So I was like, we're bringing him home, but no,
Yeah.
they did
He
not.
wasn't allowed.
They did not. And we
Allow.
reached out to somebody on the guide who was iffy about it, but we could have, but it was going to be thousands, and I was like, I'm just.
Yeah.
Honestly, I wish I would have rehomed the cats, but my wife will get mad if I say that.
With our cats, we had to get the vet to get them a prescription for like the little pills that
Definitely
make them.
get the medicine for your
Yeah,
cats if
because
you want to bring your cats.
We had to completely take them out of their carriers to go through TSA, and an adult had to carry each one through. And they so well. They had the harness and stuff, but obviously we have the kids, so we're just like, okay, you take all the kids, and then I'll get the cat out, and then you have to come back through to get the cat out. So it's just like we didn't have enough hands to do that.
That was a journey. That day was a journey.
Yeah.
So for anybody wondering, by the way, Mexico does not require a health certificate, but the airlines do. So if you're flying in, you have to check with the airline what requirements they have, because they might be different than the Mexican authorities. If you're driving in, it's a bit of a different story because you don't need that type of health certificate. But yeah, it can be expensive, and you need to get it within a certain amount of time before you come in. Like, it can't be too old. It has to be relatively new. So you've learned that too, that flying them in was a little pricey. And I assume that they each had to get a ticket themselves.
It wasn't like that much. I mean, it was an extra, like, maybe I want to say like 100 per cat. So it wasn't like, full plane ticket, but it wasn't expensive. Cheaper than the snake was gonna be. And my kids I was considering smuggling the snake, but I ended up not.
You didn't want to get in trouble at the border.
Want to get in trouble. I didn't want to make a drive from Florida to the Yucatan. That would have been much more of a journey than I want to.
Yeah.
So
So somebody's wondering if you feel safe. Though they're wondering, because they're leaning towards Valladolid, and they're wondering if safety is a thing for you guys.
100%. I have never felt unsafe here. It's funny when your social media is going to adapt to where you live. So you'll start getting like local stuff, and you'll see like, someone was like, oh, my phone got stolen, right? That we saw.
Yeah, there's police presence all throughout the centro, and then like in our colonia, like there's like trucks with police that like patrol and stuff, and like the Facebook pages with the citizens are like always really active. But I feel really safe. Even like seeing all of that and reading like, oh, somebody, a random person like opened somebody's gate and like walked into their house and take stuff. But like almost all the houses have gates and stuff. So like I don't feel personally like
we lock up every night. We do like the locals do. Man, you were just handsome.
And in our neighborhood, like they don't come and like bother you, like if you're not out there and stuff. But like your gate has to be open for people to feel like, oh, I have the need to try to sell you something or something like that. And I've traveled here to Valladolid by myself, with the baby, with my dad, with my mom, by myself. Michael's traveled by himself here. So like,
no, I haven't.
And then he walks around at night all the time. And he's like always getting like ADO buses at like 4 a.m. To go to Cancun. So
yeah, when I'm flying out to travel, that's
like
when there's very little people out in the world, like
no one out. The only time I don't feel safe is there are a lot of dogs here, and these dogs are like sometimes not friendly. But like I go out on runs, and that's my bad for trying to be healthy. But these
No,
dogs,
yeah, it's a thing, and I think people maybe don't realize that there may be a lot of strays, and
a lot of strays.
or maybe they're owned by people who just are very neglectful and don't take care of them how they should.
Yep.
But
they're
it
all
can,
they're all meant to. I feel like that's kind of meant. They're meant to be unfriendly because they're guard dogs here.
yeah,
A
they're
lot-
guarding. It's a different culture of how dogs are kept for the most
Nobody's-
part.
Nobody's bit me though. No dog has bit me yet.
That's good. That's really good.
But no,
Yeah,
these
but
are-
you're also not trying to pet them either, and you're
I'm
not
not
trying
to pet a dog. But no, I never felt unsafe. We keep our gate closed. But I would say like know that like security, like everyone's like about having like a gate and like a metal door or a wall. I don't think I've ever stayed anywhere in Mexico that didn't have like
The concrete wall.
a wall or like a metal like gate or bars on the windows.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like, but don't let that put you off in terms of like, I think that's just the culture a little bit.
Yeah, it's just it's a privacy thing, right? Like we don't know what's behind somebody's garage until you open up their garage door, or they might have a big, concrete wall. It's a privacy thing, and it's also a thing of like we're not used to having these like ginormous backyards. So a lot of time that patio in the front is kind of our backyard. That's where we have our cookouts and our family reunions, and
Yep.
that's where we hang out when we do parties. So that's also like a double use space.
Yeah.
But yeah, super safe in my opinion.
Okay, well there you go. I hope that puts your mind at ease, Michelle. I know that moving alone anywhere can be a little nerve-wracking. But yeah, I will kind of piggyback on what Liliana and Michael said. Yucatan is generally considered to be a very safe state. There's there's a lot of police presence in general everywhere. But even if you're not moving to Yucatan, and I know that Mexico gets put in this very negative light in general in U.S. media, and maybe in media in general, like in foreign countries. But I would really encourage people to put boots on the ground, and particularly in cities that you've heard of on our channel. Like I would never ever promote a city that I would personally not feel safe living in. So
Yeah, I've been in all parts of Mexico. I'd say the only place I kind of felt a little unsafe was Tijuana, and
okay, yeah, I would agree with that.
that's a pretty sketchy city. So, but Mexico City, Mazatlan, most places I felt generally just fine. Take your normal precautions, and lock your doors, and don't be like heading out at night unless you're weird like me and you just want to go for a run.
Yeah.
I might not go out as much in like other cities that I've been in at night. Here at night, I always go out. I don't care.
Yeah.
It's pretty fine. That's like a judgment call on your part, I'd say. And,
Yeah. It also depends on, maybe there's areas in every city, right, that feel sketchier than others. Like there's certainly areas of Mexico City that I would easily walk at night by myself, and there's certainly areas of Mexico City that I would never in a million, even during the day, I would never walk by myself. So it doesn't matter what time of day. So same for Guadalajara, same for really anywhere in Mexico. There's
if you come to Valladolid, we're happy to hang out. We're a happy bunch.
That's nice. That's a good resource to have. Well, I want to thank you both for spending your evening with me. I hope you guys have fun tonight, and let us know how that went. It looks like the baby's ready to to start the party.
Yeah, he is.
He's taking his nap. He's ready. He's ready for the second part of the day.
He's usually he's teething. He's usually so.
But I want to thank you guys really for spending. I know that you guys probably have a million things going on, so I thank you for spending this time with us tonight. And when you guys are done building your house, I would love to, if you guys are open to it, maybe do a video on it.
Yeah, we can do a video on the house, and I'll definitely be posting it in the guide when on the Facebook channel.
I would love to see it. It sounds like a really cool project. And yeah, maybe we can share more of like once you guys move in, what you guys are learning as you guys are living in it. You know, what kinds of materials maybe you recommend using in certain parts of Mexico, like Yucatan, that maybe other parts of Mexico don't need to worry so much about. But maybe, you know, because of the humidity and things like that, I assume they have to build differently. Yeah. So I would love to do a video when you guys move in and after, obviously after you guys have finally moved in and
For
you know,
sure.
you guys are willing to do that. So
Yep.
thank you so much for joining me tonight. You guys, thank you so much for joining us at home. I hope you have learned a little bit about Valladolid. And I know that, you know, these videos give you like a brief insight into the city, but if you want to learn more about that city specifically, I think it's worth taking a look, especially like Michael and Liliana said, they're trying to get away from these like expat big communities, right? You're trying to build more of an immersive Mexican life. And yeah, maybe Valladolid is that place for you. So we have a video on the channel if you guys are interested in watching that. So thank you, Liliana. Thank you, Michael.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.